I'm Steve. I'm the vicar, rector of St John's the Baptist in Crawley. I've been in post for 2.5 years, near 3 years. We're a apostolic partnership from St Peter's Brighton into St John's Crawley. And we've started the adventure and it was great. And we have the privilege of welcoming Sam and Amy Buck to our church very shortly.
Hi. No, we're excited. We're excited to be coming. It's going to be a little bit different to how we imagined it to be, but yeah, we're so excited and we are getting ready.
Can you tell us a little bit about your calling, your vocation journey?
My faith journey, my journey into this point has been gradual. It's really, I suppose I've always had a relationship with the church. I was taken to church as a 9-day-old baby. You know, I've always had that in my life. And my relationship with Jesus has developed as I've developed, and it's been a sort of a slow burner. And as part of that, I developed a passion for the church, I guess. It could only be given by God. And along with that, you know, the passion for the church to be all that it's called to be, a vehicle that God uses for the transformation of society. And along with that, there's always been this sort of holy frustration that goes along with sort of seeing the reality of what that actually looks like on the ground at the moment.
Yeah.
For a while, I thought I might end up going into politics in some way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've always been interested in that. Passionate about justice issues. You can make a real difference in the political arena. God had other plans, obviously, through a number of different circumstances. Took me into youth work, which was a surprise to me more than anyone, but I loved it, every minute of it. Every young person I got to be with, to minister to, and who taught me so much as well, shaped me in incredible ways. And during that time, it's about 10 years I was doing youth work. That passion and frustration with the church has only kind of deepened. And so through that and a sort of deep conviction, people calling out things in me around my calling, what it might be, obviously through prayer and study, and even a physical sign as well, I ended up going into the discernment process. Found our way into St Mellitus College and ended up here.
What was the physical sign? All right.
It involved an owl and a time of prayer when I was asking God, Lord, what do you want me to do? Are you calling me into ordination in the Church of England? I was in a field. I was asking for a sign. I said, show me an owl, because I thought I heard an owl. I didn't see an owl until 2 days later when I was praying again, and I got to the point of just saying, God, whatever it is you have for us, whatever it is, we trust you. You are a good Father. You only give good gifts to your children. And at that moment I was praying, I was in this little hut with a tiny window, and then suddenly landing in that, perfectly framed in the window, was the biggest, whitest barn owl you've ever seen. It was just staring at me for about 3 minutes. I don't know. It was an incredible moment.
How has lockdown been for us preparing for this for curacy? And I think we both would probably say it's been difficult and problematic. And I think you've had your own personal, struggles with finding housing, because there's not a lot of movement in the housing market.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, we've been incredibly busy as well. Continuing with college through lockdown and trying to finish a dissertation, moving out of our house, trying to find something, as you say, in Crawley, which is still a thing we're trying to do at the moment. Our children have both been at home, aged 2 and 4. So that's a job in itself, 24/7 homeschooling. Wow. And all of that. And also, carrying on finishing well at our placement church, because that's, we're doing mixed mode training. So we've been involved in the church here in Worthing for the last 2 years, and finishing well there, helping us as a community here get online well and do pastoral support and various other things. So it's not been a restful time exactly. It's been busy, but I think what's been key is that it hasn't been an unreflective busyness. Yeah. I think it's been really important to do that. We've gone through stages of that people talk about in this time, heroism where we kind of stoically want to get on with the job and be the rock and be reliable and just get on, sort of tunnel vision, and then you go through that despair phase where everything just seems too much. And that hit me quite, in a way I wasn't expecting. I got really tired, really anxious, and yeah, so that was a unsettling period, but I've sort of come through that into a time of acceptance, where we know that this is happening, but God is still who God says he is. We're still who God says we are. What does it look like to live and work in this time? So yeah, it's been a busy old time, but unique time.
So the next 12 months, we're really pleased to have you here. We're going to get you to look at lots of different ministries we run here. We're going to work out what Sam Buck would need, in order to equip him for the next stage of ministry. Our purpose here is not to use you as a resource, but to equip you for the next stage of your ministry, and to be a time where you and Amy can explore what that ministry will look like for both of you going forward. So the next 12 months for me is to see and get to know you, really, and that's how we'll take it from there. What about you? Any thoughts about the next 12 months?
We're kind of guinea pigs, really, the first ever virtual curates the church has ever had to deal with. So what does it look like in this period, especially? I hope for the next 12 months that we can connect with all that God is doing in Crawley, be ready for the next phase of what this crisis might throw at us. And yeah, we hope to connect really in the next 12 months with people and schools and churches, and the environment we're going to be thrown into, for want of a better word. We want to make the best of it. I mean, it's a concern as well, because we're in a time where we can't do that in the way that we would have liked, and with the freedoms that we used to build relationships. But we're hoping that we're going to find a way through.
This is a very simple question. What's the single thing, very quickly, that is the hope for the future of the Christianity in Britain? Being a theological student for the last few years and having all the time in the world, you roll off the tongue.
I think it's the same thing now as it has ever been. Jesus, all right? I know, shock horror. But, I was thinking about this one. And, if Jesus has been raised, is alive, is ascended, is interceding, has given us his spirit, then we have absolutely every reason to be hopeful. Jesus has not given us a reason not to be hopeful. God still loves us. God still loves every person in our nation, every person in Crawley. So there is always hope. That's where our hope comes from. If we don't have Jesus, we don't have anything to say, we don't have anything to offer. So that would be my answer, and I hope that's right.
That's right. Yeah, it's why one of our vision statements, our first one, and is love Jesus. So by you answering that gives me a scope to say something else. And so I think my hope for Christianity right now is I think we stand at an opportunity with what's happening with Corona, COVID, what's happened in America this last week, for the church to step forward into the space that Jesus would step into in a way that perhaps we haven't, because we've become a little bit too comfortable sometimes, but it's really dissettling, and I think things are being thrown up in the air, and there's many things that are really bad about COVID and what's going on, but there's great opportunities to preach Jesus at the moment, and I think we have an amazing privilege to step into that space now with the strength of the Spirit, with a Father that loves everyone, and that Jesus that shows us the way to live and redeems everything. And so I'm excited about the next season. I'm excited about the next 12 months. And I'm really looking forward to having you on board. How can you pray for us both? I think for me, you could pray for us as a church to make wise decisions going forward. But I would pray that for me and Sam to have a deep friendship during this time, and for Amy and the family to feel really supported and welcomed, and to feel the love of Christ wrap around them, whatever their circumstances. That would be great for me. How about you, Sam?
I can't add too much more to that, to be honest. That's all we would want. Pray for our children to adjust, especially. Everything's new for them, and they don't have the level of understanding what's going on. So new area, new home, new school, new church, new everything. So yeah, they're my main concern really. But yeah, housing would be great, but
Okay.
most, yeah, our children to adjust well.
Well, amen, and thanks for talking.